Welcome to Rediscover the Verde Valley. I'm Christian Oliva Del Rio, President and CEO with the Cottonwood Chamber of Commerce. And this morning with me, I've got Anime Cory and Cory Brewing with the Arizona Pines Motel. Welcome.
Thank you. Lovely to be here. Thanks for asking us.
Thank you, Christian.
Well, I like to start the show usually by giving a little bit of history. We have a close-knit community here, so it's always great and interesting to me to, hear a little bit about your background and, what brought you to the Verde Valley and how long you've been here. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Well, I have a business background starting way back in Cleveland, Ohio, where I ran health food stores. Then I moved to Colorado and did a health food and cheese shop. Then I moved to Sedona and did a restaurant. And from the restaurant, I learned the motel business. So I've rather been, self-employed. And my father taught me a lot about values and how to always operate from what you believe in. And so I'm appreciative of that. And we came to Sedona in '86 from Aspen, where in Aspen we had 9 months of snow and the kids all went away to college and we were shoveling snow. It's like, whoa, okay. So we moved to Sedona then, where it was a reverse, 9 months of summer and 3 months of maybe shoveling one shovel of snow. And that initially was the weather. And now I'm glad I'm here because of the community. The close-knit community.
Well, it seems like you instilled those skills and thoughts in Cory as well. So Cory, how long have you been here?
Well, growing up, anime is my mother, so I've always been around the opportunities that she has created in terms of her businesses and sort of been behind the scenes. And I was the kid at the health food store that would take a protein bar off the shelf and then she explained to me, it's like, well, you got to write that down because that's going to cost us. Anyway, so I ended up moving to Arizona to go to the U of A down in Tucson, and that was in the late 80s. So at that time, I was stint away from my mother. I studied recording engineering, so I'm a musician, artist on that token. And then anime moved to the Verde Valley, and during one summer I would come up from Tucson to come visit, and ended up staying here. So
yeah, very nice. So you have kids and other family here?
Yes, all of our family is in the area. My wife Martha also works at the Pines Motel and runs the front desk and the housekeeping and general managing of a lot of that. And then we have one daughter who also was born in Verde Valley Medical Center.
Wow, yeah.
Born and raised in Cottonwood. So
great. So Anime, you've got a wide gamut of background in history in your business, but you don't only just run the hotels, right? You've got like a real estate business too, don't you?
Right. That's how I got in the Pines in the first place. I was always in real estate. My father was a real estate broker, but I went and got my Arizona real estate license. And within a year, the Pines, was called Cottonwood Pines, came up for sale. It was like 12 rooms. And I told Bob, I said, we should buy this as our retirement plan. This was in the year 2001. Right. I said, we can run this with our eyes closed because it's 12 rooms, right? Yeah. So that's how it all started.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to ask you next is, why the hotel business?
Well, when I had the restaurant in Sedona, I went to the motel in the back of the restaurant, which was Super 8. And they hired me as a manager. And I learned from professionals who owned it how to operate a motel, how to do the national advertising, how to actually do a motel, because every business has its own language, Yeah. So that's why I said we could run, it was 66 rooms. We could run a 12-year room place pretty easily. That's
Yeah.
how.
But you've got more than 12 rooms now, don't you?
Yes.
You've expanded.
Right. So my father, again, taught me to try to stay out of debt as much as possible.
Okay.
So what we did, because I also was a realtor, we did not take any money out of the motel. We kept putting the profits back in. We expanded, we built a pool, then we expanded in 2007 to the back building, which we added 10 more rooms. We added a new office and a garage. We just kept adding on. As the profits, were allowing us to do it.
Right. So then, Cory, what was it like working with your mom?
Well, an interesting story is that in the restaurant business, I did work with her at the restaurant, and I ended up, because I was waiting tables at that time at her restaurant, I would call Anna Mae. I never called her my mom. Right. And so it was just an interesting story of being, working in the kitchen, and people would be hired and come in and start working, and and I'd be calling her Anna Mae, and then after a certain amount of time, they kind of realized that Anna Mae was my mother, and then all of a sudden, everybody started acting differently. Sure. It was just like, I heard something.
Well, and then his name, Cory, has been an issue. His real name is Robert Cory Bruning. Gave him my middle name, my maiden name as his middle name, and we call him Cory. So many people say Anna Mae Cory. Cory? They don't quite get it, but.
Right.
And I still, even outside of work, periodically just call her Anna Mae.
Yeah. Actually, quite a few people that are, family-run businesses, and it's actually not a bad idea to use names that way. I think so. You get certain people might look at it differently or look at you differently if you're saying, hey mom, like you're getting some sort of certain privilege, right? But
when you're a child and your parent looks at you and goes, Christian Olivia Del Rio, you're in trouble.
Right.
Now when I say Anna Mae.
No, I can't imagine her ever being in trouble.
Well,
you guys,
one of the beautiful parts of Anna Mae, my mother as a businesswoman, is I think she has quite a knack on hiring. Like, she knows how to hire people and surround herself with people that sort of support her vision. And she's really good at picking who those are. And if those people don't fit that, then she's really, then they're gone. So I think that's a really great trait to know, who to surround yourself with and how you choose that.
Absolutely. I think that's a great legacy of your father and your grandfather, Cory, that he taught you some great skills that you're able to then pass on to the younger generations, and I'm sure your daughter, Cory, when she's ready, will take over the motel as well, right? So
she's an athlete right now, so she does a lot of gymnastics. She's at college right now, and I've mentioned to her about a motel, and she's just like in conversations, though, she does pay attention. And so when Martha and I are talking here with Anna Mae, all of a sudden later on, she'll say something that, she was paying attention. So I know she's picking up stuff. So
that's excellent. That's excellent.
And
but you guys, we're going to take a quick break. It's only about a minute break. When we come back.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. my human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to Rediscover the Verde Valley. I'm Christian Oliva Del Rio with the Cottonwood Chamber of Commerce. And again, with me is Cory Bruning and Anime Cory with the Pines Motel. We were just sharing a lot of the great family traits and histories that you've learned and are passing down through the generations and running this wonderful business of yours. So tell me a little bit more about how the dream may have evolved.
In May of 2021, it'll be 20 years that we bought the original 12 rooms. Right. And it was at the point where I invest in real estate and have no other real investments because my father was in the 29 depression and kind of discouraged me from stock market knowledge. Anyway, I was always into real estate. And the 12 rooms just appealed to me as a retirement plan because no one gave me one. I have to earn it myself. And so that's how it started, was a retirement plan. And so just like I mentioned before, little by little, every year we take the profits and do another upgrade. We're still doing that. This year, we just came in, even though COVID, we had money saved and we came in with new, bigger, flat screen, smart TVs. Right. So we're always upgrading and doing new things. So it's kind of evolved out of the family. Now, at the beginning, we hired staff to work it. I also actively worked it when I wasn't doing real estate. It wasn't, and that's when Cory had a child and Martha, and she didn't want to work because she wanted to raise the baby. So it was a few years before they came aboard. And I would say 8 or 9 years now instead of, so now we've trained over that period of time and Martha just has taken over. Cory is all the IT stuff in the background, and we used to call him Gal Fridays, but he's kind of a Guy Friday. Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
No, I didn't know that.
He's Monday through Friday. Yeah. And he's kind of keeping us together. Yeah. And it's a little bit slower than it was, but we're just taking one day at a time.
Right. And you guys are very engaged with the Lodging Association. And I mean, you're doing a lot of amazing things at your property. Tell us a little bit more about being green and your certifications and all that.
Well, I grew up on a farm, an organic farm in Ohio. And so my roots come from natural and being, eating organic foods. And I was actually vegetarian until I was 22. And just the idea of a carbon footprint, I watched society become more polluted, being in the health food business. So it's more or less an idea that I've always had. When I first saw the Tesla car in 2014, I said, oh, I want one of those, but they were like $100,000. So what I did do was put a Tesla charging station at the motel, along as 2 other regular charging stations in 2014. So it took me 5 years. I finally got my Tesla because they came under 50,000. So I'm kind of trying to live what I believe as long as it's affordable. Back in maybe 2012, 13, there was a lot of throwing around in marketing of the word green. And so the Arizona Lodging and Tourism Association said, well, wait a minute. We don't want our industry to just say we're green. We want to know, what does that mean? So they came up with the first in the country to have a certified program where hotels, motels, lodges, resorts could fill out and qualify to say, I am now certified by the association guidelines that we are green. Now, are we perfect? No. But we have enough of the guidelines, the biggest percent as needed, to actually say that we were certified green. Then
Right.
last year, the Sustainability Alliance with Lisa, she came by and interviewed us, and we qualified for the Arizona Alliance of
Right.
Sustainability.
Yeah, at first I think we qualified to be a bronze level.
Oh,
They
yeah,
had different
bronze.
levels. This was
Yeah.
last year, the year before,
Right.
a bronze. And so we looked at the list and criteria and made choices of where we could actually choose to become a little more green. And like this year we have been raised to the silver. you know.
Yeah, because Lisa recommended many things, but two of them we did. One was to put in a saltwater pool, and the other one was refillable plastic bottles. And we've saved at least 350 plastic bottles in the last few weeks with
That's
our
A water dispenser.
water dispenser. With it's filtered and it's cooled.
Right.
And people who can refill their water bottles instead of throwing away the plastic. So again, it's about our value system and trying to implement them.
There's
in our
simple
way
things
of
that
life.
you can do, right? That we may not think about. You're not just talking the talk; you're actually walking the walk, and that's so impressive. When I visited, we did a little walkthrough at the property and everything. And one of the things I noticed, when I go into a hotel room, I'm instantly wanting to clean everything. But just like the remote control for the TVs, right? I noticed that you guys have the kind that don't have the buttons separate. It's like a solid piece. It's easier to clean. There's less chance of
Okay.
us getting some kind of sickness or anything, right?
Interrupt you one second.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we interrupt you on that because now we have dish TV, and then before that cable, they wouldn't let us use them.
Really?
So
Yeah.
sometimes we try to do things, and then
Yeah.
what happens is we can't use them.
Yeah, you can't use you have to use their remotes.
You have
but-
to use their
but we
remote.
still have this box of remotes that we're going to somehow incorporate back
We're
into
ready.
the future.
We are
Well,
ready.
you know what? I think you guys are just the right people to figure out a way to make them work or get direct or dish.
We're conscious of that at least. So
Right.
we still have them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's huge. And that's to me, that's the most important. You are trying, you are making changes, you are making baby steps to make this world a better place. And I appreciate it. Tell us some more about the property, Cory.
Well, the property itself is on an acre. It has now it has 27 rooms to be able to be rented. One of those was the manager's quarters where Anna Mae had lived before. So we have a saltwater pool. That's a seasonal pool. That's not a year-round pool. Part of our discussions about keeping the pool open year-round is that it would have to be heated. And so we've made choices to say, well, we'd rather not, heat the pool in the wintertime because of the gas and just not many people want to use it anyway. So why waste?
Exactly.
We are looking at ways to sort of, add other rooms to our property for the future. We're going to be growing. The property itself is, I think there's a lot of variety of what people can choose in terms of, basic rooms and rooms with kitchens. And then now we have a very luxurious house suite that's, basically a home for someone to live if they needed to.
Nice. You know what I love about the property too, and I can tell you, whenever my family visits, I send them to you. I don't want them in my house, but the property is set off of Main Street, so it's quieter. It's a beautiful property, and you're centrally located. It's easy to get around town. You're right there next to Main Street. I just love what you guys are doing over there, and just can't tell you how much I thank you for taking good care of my family when they visit.
Thank you, Christian. Well, our reviews are very important to us. And
Yeah.
one of the things I like when I read it is when someone says, you're a motel, And then they come and then they write a review. This was much more than a motel. It was
Right.
much more than I expected to get for the price. And so
Right.
when people get more than they, expected, that's a really good compliment.
It is, yeah. So tell me, we're dealing with some unprecedented times here, and COVID has definitely sent us all for a loop, but I think it's affected your industry quite the most. How are you guys dealing with that and faring through?
Yeah, I'd like to just start out about when all that was kind of going down. There was a lot of negativity in the air of like, oh, the people have to stay home, or people they can't do what they want to do, or you have to, the economy is going to crash, or something's just, it was all a bunch of negativity. And what really struck me is that anime had always looked at the positive sides of things. It's like, well, you kind of roll with punches. And so as a business, or even who we are in life, it's like, well, what about this is working? Like, what about this can work? It's like, she never really saw like, oh, there's no one looking for rooms, we're going to crash. It was never like that. It was like, oh, well, no one's looking for rooms. Well, what can we do? And what do we feel grateful for in what we have, and where she and we all have positioned ourselves in being able to still offer things to the community. So when the business did, practically every phone call in March and April was someone canceling a reservation. Yeah. And so, and then when there were no more reservations, the phone didn't ring anymore. So we did, anime was just like, well, let's just take this opportunity to realize what we have and what we're still here, and let's utilize that. And if you have anything more to say about that.
Can we take a quick break, Anime? I'm sorry to cut you, but we went a little bit long on that segment, but we could talk about this. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.org.
Welcome back to Rediscover the Verde Valley. I'm sorry, Anne May, we kind of had to cut you off at that last segment, but this is a very important topic. I think everybody needs to learn more about. So
the thing I was going to say is, because business dropped and because we had more time, we also had to learn how to disinfect a little bit differently, because we had green products that didn't qualify anymore for the COVID. So Martha did research and she came up with all the cleaning products and switch it with things we had to do. And because we had extra space, we began to allow people to come, and we were having the nurses and first responders, we let them stay at our property. And we didn't have a lot, because at the beginning, Cottonwood was very mild, but there were Flagstaff nurses that came down to help our hospital. We pretty much gave a lot of free rooms. At a point, we did charge, if someone stayed real long, we charged a $50 cleaning fee, but minimal. We were contributing to first responders. And then when the fire department had their thing, one of the wives came over and she was separating from her husband. So We have contributed.
That amazes me. You guys are so, like I said, when you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk. You know, you are so community oriented, and can't thank you both enough for what you're doing in our community. The first responders to be able to have a safe place to go and quarantine themselves. That you just kind of told that story like, oh well, it's no big deal, and it's such a big deal. You amazed me.
In a way, for us, it's normal because I think it might have been 5 years ago when the Catholic Charities was screening homeless people and putting them in. We took, if the temperature went below a certain degree, we took homeless in, and we'd have 2 or 3 rooms set aside for a cold night homeless. So because they were screened by someone, not just someone coming in, oh, I'm homeless, can I have a room? But they were screened, and we've been doing that, and we had switched out our blankets to down blankets. And so when a homeless person came, we were getting rid of our old blankets, but when they checked out, we'd give them a blanket. Here, take it.
And here's a green remote.
Right, here's a green remote.
So again, walking the walk and again, recycling, right? Instead of throwing out the blankets or anything, you're giving it to a good cause and somebody that's really going to appreciate that blanket.
Yeah.
So,
and that really was Anime. I remember because everyone was canceling, and all of a sudden we're here with an empty building.
Right.
Anime just says, we have an empty building. There are rooms, they should be used.
right.
Oh yeah, I guess. And so we
Excellent service. So thank you so much for your service. So tell us a little bit, Anime, because we've got only a few more minutes here. And, you know, I've been truly blessed to know you. Now, I've been with the Chamber for 13 years. And last year at our annual dinner, you were our Volunteer of the Year. And I wish I could make you the Volunteer of the Year every year. She's got, right?
My award on the wall there.
That's right. So, you know, tell us just briefly, if you can, what the Chamber does for you. Why are you a part of the Chamber?
Well, I was gone for 4 years. And when I came back in 2018, that's when I became an ambassador for the Chamber, because I wanted to contribute back to the community, be a part of the community, and get familiar again. So anyone who becomes an ambassador actually gets to deliver welcome packets, go out and meet new members, welcome them to the Chamber and the community. The first year I was an ambassador, I also called on existing members and thanked them for being a member and making sure they knew the amenities that they had with the Chamber, such as making sure that the website, their name was correct, and the keywords, that we do ribbon cuttings. That's a lot of fun, to go out and celebrate with businesses that are either new or having something new. They could be existing business and have a ribbon cutting for a new, like we did a ribbon cutting for the car chargers.
Yeah.
And so just being a part of the Chamber is a way to be a part of the community as well.
And I think even in that program, it has allowed her to kind of go, put her foot on the ground, and you have actually found people for us to use as a business to like go, oh, did you know that so-and-so does this? We were thinking about, and we're like, oh, so it'll actually opened up opportunities for us to utilize people in our area.
And we take their brochures and put them in the lobby and things like that.
Thank you for saying that, because that's the thing is, we appreciate the ambassadors. They're serving the Chamber, absolutely. But the important thing that we want everybody to know too is that it's about promoting your business. It's about making those connections and those networks, right, and building on them. So one big advantage, I think, of being an ambassador, and I hope you would agree, is that you are being able to meet other business people, and like you said, share those resources and those references. So it does expose you to a lot more. So, well, I can't thank both of you enough. I know we could sit here and talk forever. I just love you both and appreciate everything you do for our community. You just amaze me, and
Thank you.
I hope I can live up to, what you guys do in our community. So
Is there one thing I can close with?
absolutely.
Okay, great. I want to thank the Verde Valley Wine Consortium, who has absolutely put Cottonwood on the map. We used to be like the bedroom community to Sedona, but we are now Cottonwood, and people know the word, and the word Cottonwood is on the map because of the Verde Valley wine and the awards. They won some more last week that are incredible. So I just want to acknowledge that part of our growth that has really put us on the map, and everyone benefits, everyone.
Right. I absolutely agree with you, because that's the beauty of our Verde Valley is, yes, the wine may bring them here, but we have so many other things to share with them. Right. And that wine is a draw, and we've got to embrace it. It's good for the health, right? A little bit of wine. Well, thanks, you guys. Again, I truly appreciate you. And maybe we can do this again soon sometime. I'd like to do a remote from the property so everybody can see it as well. So we'll work on that.
Okay.
Right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you so much.